Raise your hand if you have made a difference. I like that. Okay. Keep them up, keep them up. I mean any kind of difference. In your own life at home, at work, in the community. Almost all hands. Okay, okay. That's awesome. Now I want you to imagine that experience when you made that difference. How difficult was it? Was it hard? Was it easy? How satisfying was it? Did you achieve your goal quickly? Were the outcomes exactly what you were hoping for? Well, what if I told you I have one thing that I believe will help you make that difference or the next difference to an even greater degree? It's as simple as this. Shift your perspective to wide-angle proactivity. We're introducing new terms here, so bear with me. Wide angle. When I say wide angle, I mean the big picture, as big and as expansive as your mind can imagine. And when I say proactivity, I mean truly proactive. I mean beyond the surface proactive, walk in the talk proactive. And that's not to say that you're not proactive at this point in time, or that you can't make a significant difference, because you can. But what I really want to hammer home today is that I always think we can do a better job at making a difference. I'm emphasizing that if we incorporate the bigger picture, we can make a bigger difference, or make it faster or more efficiently with increased personal satisfaction or desired results. If you want to make a difference to the best of your ability, you've got to look at the bigger picture and be truly proactive. Because when you widen that perspective and when you bring in the bigger picture, it will better enable you to understand the actual challenge or issue or opportunity at hand. And combined with being truly proactive, the likelihood of affecting change is enormous. So let's step back to basics for a minute. The Oxford English Dictionary defines the word proactive as creating or controlling a situation rather than just responding to it after it has happened. And we all know how to be proactive in the broad sense of the word, right? Step 1, pick your desired outcome. Pick your goal. What is it that you want to achieve? Step 2, determine how you're going to achieve it, how you're going to get there. Step 3, make it happen. Just do it. Start. And we can generally identify with that as the, stick basic process to be proactive. And there's numerous immediate tangible benefits to being proactive. Increased efficiency, prevention of unnecessary work or effort, increased likelihood of achieving our goals, and the oh-so common saying, be proactive, not reactive. Who's heard that one before? And I'll be the first to identify I'm not the first person to point out the benefits of being proactive. Who's heard of or read Dr. Stephen R. Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? Hands, a lot of you, okay. Well, habit number 1 of the number 1 most influential business book of the 20th century is be proactive. That's right. Though here is where I prompt you. Just like every other human action, there's a performance spectrum. There's doing it, and there's doing it well. So to illustrate this, quite literally, we'll use an example. Meet Angela, a fictitious character to maintain anonymity. Angela, for her New Year's resolution, sets a goal. Angela wants to lose 10 pounds, and she decides to be proactive about it. So in anticipation of achieving this goal, Angela determines that she will exercise. That's how she's going to do it. It's how she's going to lose her 10 pounds. And at this point, we can say, great. Angela has set herself a goal, figured out how she's going to get there, and is about to start. And it's obvious that for Angela to actually achieve the goal, she'll need to go beyond just thinking about it and actually start doing it. But she'll need to do it continuously. Because to go from one to the other in that spectrum of how often she completes this activity, she'll need to make it a frame of mind. Or in other words, a behavior. Being proactive is not an instantaneous one-time action, as the word itself may imply. This is important. As humans, we have the tendency to like to just cross things off the list, or at least I know I do. It makes me feel accomplished. But we need to remind ourselves that being proactive is a long-term commitment. So off Angela goes and incorporates exercise into her daily routine. Angela is being proactive. Unfortunately, Angela has given up. Proactivity aside, There were a lot of difficult challenges and roadblocks that she just really wasn't thinking of, and it was a tough time, so she gave up. Her effort and her forethought aside, she became a statistic. She gave up her resolution in 3 weeks or 3 months, 6 months, however long it takes, as I'm sure most of us have personally witnessed or experienced. I think if we plot attendance to the gym in month of the year, January, March, June, right? At least that's what my attendance looks like. So to get back on track and increase her chances of achieving her goal, Angela needs to do more than just be proactive. Angela needs to be truly proactive. And I know you guys are probably thinking like, okay, how much more proactive can we get, Amie? But if proactivity were an iceberg, I'm about to introduce to you what I think of as the bottom 90%. Just to quickly reference the iceberg example in case anyone's unfamiliar with the metaphor. Generally speaking, due to densities, the bottom 90% of an iceberg is invisible when you're in a boat. It's underwater, it's below the surface. It's the part we don't think about, the part we don't see. So this part of proactivity, the part that we don't think about, that we don't see, is the critical part. It's the dynamic part. So back to Angela, applying that 90%. To know she's on track to achieving her goal, to get there, Angela needs feedback. She needs to turn this behavior into something that's going to be an effective behavior. She needs to be aware of how the behavior is performing and ensure that it's actually helping her to achieve her goal. So she needs to monitor her progress, she needs to evaluate it, and she needs to change her approach when it's not working. So 5 pounds. It's just not doing the trick for Angela. She's not losing those 10 pounds. Well, what if she ups it to 10-pound weights? Maybe that'll get the juices flowing, help actually lose those 10 pounds. What if she's just too tired to get up and exercise in the morning, and she's only exercising once a week? Well, she could start exercising at nighttime. Then she can sleep in the morning and exercise at night, the best of both worlds. Awareness and flexibility. This is how we implement a sustaining impact. Being aware of our progress and having the flexibility to alter our approach when necessary. Angela is being truly proactive. So we can say, great. Angela has her goal, she's figured out how she's going to get there, and she has mechanisms in place to ensure that she does. But what about the bigger picture? What about the unexpected? What about other influencing factors? By widening her perspective, Angela gains 4 important advantages. I'm going to walk through them. Advantage number 1. She has a heightened understanding of the cumulative elements that are going to determine her success, that will contribute to that goal, such as eating healthy, getting enough sleep, having the facilities to exercise, having a support network, any other ingredient that you can imagine that will influence her degree of success in the bigger picture. By widening our perspective, we are more easily aware of the full scope of resources at our disposal for achieving our goals. Advantage number 2. Angela can better anticipate and mitigate any roadblocks that might stop her from achieving her goal. Now that she's aware of those things contributing to the goal, she's also aware of the things that may deter her from her goal, such as those ice cream sundaes that are kind of negating the exercise she's been doing, or just really not getting enough sleep and she's too tired to exercise, day or night, or just totally running out of time because she didn't schedule it in her schedule beforehand. By being aware of these potential hurdles, Angela can significantly reduce her risk of falling off the wagon. So if we use the bigger perspective, we are better able to identify those situations or those elements that may come in from domains we weren't anticipating up front. Advantage number 3. Angela is alert for alternative ways of achieving her goal. So her initial means to lose those 10 pounds was through exercise. And that's awesome. But what if exercise just doesn't work? Not an option. What if that's not how Angela's body works? She's not going to lose her 10 pounds by just exercising. Well, what if she got a physical job? What if she started delivering mail and was walking long distances every single day? Some kind of stamina-building activity that was going to ultimately help her lose those 10 pounds. Or what if it was a different kind of weight loss therapy, something that was more relevant to Angela and her body and the goal she wanted to achieve? Or any other imaginative solution that you can think of. It's in the bigger picture. You've got to open up those eyes to think about the alternatives of ways to achieve your goals. And last but not least, the 4th advantage that Angela gains by widening her perspective is she is well poised to discover additional opportunities. So in this simple example where Angela has gone on a journey of exercise to lose her 10 pounds, Well, maybe a new goal pops into the picture. Maybe a new goal and the potential possibility to run a half marathon. Something else that pops up. Opportunities come from the actions that we undertake to achieve our goals. And it's easiest to recognize them when our perspective is wide. So here's Angela applying wide-angle proactivity, and that's ultimately how she met her goal. Not to say that she couldn't have if she was just purely reactive or somewhat proactive, but her chances of success and maintaining those results, in other words, making a lasting difference, are significantly increased. But that's just Angela, right? But instead of Angela, what about another individual? What about a member of the community, a business owner, a policymaker, anyone you can think of? We all have the opportunity to enhance ourselves, our businesses, our communities, by applying wide-angle proactivity. So let's take this into a social context. Let's use a different example. Crime rates. Something that most people in this room probably don't like, and that we would obviously like to lower. So let's make our goal, collective, as decreasing crime rates in our community. Great. If we were to tackle this with a proactive mindset, how would we do that? How would we go about decreasing crime rates in our community proactively? Well, one thought that might jump to some minds in the audience is, let's select an official with a platform that ramps up legal enforcement, or elect an official with a platform that sets aside funding for specific crime prevention initiatives. Or we could donate our own money or volunteer our own time to those specific initiatives. All of these things that we can do within the realm of our ability to help make that change on a societal scale. But what about the bigger picture? What about the wide angle? Let's take a step back. Crime rates come from criminals, obviously. Criminals are people. What makes people criminals? There's a fantastic TEDx talk by Dawe that I would encourage all of you to watch, titled Lessons from Death Row Inmates. Now, his talk is obviously specific to a rather elevated category of criminal, but nonetheless addresses fundamental concerns for these criminals. He discusses the importance of childhood experiences and early age development and the direct statistical correlation that it has with those children growing up to become criminals or eventually committing a murder. Dawe provides some phenomenal insight for how to solve this society-scaled problem. But it doesn't just apply to death row inmates. It applies to most criminal behaviors. So if the window for opportunity to make the biggest difference is in the form of a child, then let's use that to accomplish our goal. Let's spend time with those kids in our community and have a positive impact. Let's try and impart any of the knowledge or wisdom that we have to give and share with them. Personally, I spent my Fort McMurray winter this year as a volunteer cross-country ski coach for some great kids in our community. And I hope the time that I and the other coaches and the amazing parents and people in this community have spent with those kids has a lasting and positive impact on them and their friends, and ideally, hopefully, will contribute to our community's next generation that can boast a lower crime rate. In my window of time with you guys today, we've had the opportunity to walk through two examples, Angela and crime rate. But this framework, this concept of wide-angle proactivity can and does apply to anything. Whether faced with challenges on the individual level, such as planning for retirement, making a career choice, assessing a relationship, or on the community level, like running a business, decreasing crime rate in our community, improving our local healthcare systems, or on the global level, like tackling responsible resource management. Having the gusto to be truly proactive and incorporate that big picture perspective is going to help you get to where you want to be. Now, my hope from today is that each of you is armed with a new tool, a new addition to your toolkit, this concept of wide-angle proactivity. And I'd love to see you use it. Make the most of your time and your efforts in every arena, and make your difference to the best degree that you can. Let's try something together. Sean, can we have the house lights for a little bit, please? House lights, please. Okay, I want everybody to cover their eyes. I'm going to put this down because I'm going to do it too. Like this, cover your eyes. I know we're crazy, but cool. We're going to use our imaginations for a bit. We're going to jump back in time. You're in 5th grade at school, and it's lunchtime. You're in the courtyard, big brick wall to one side, playground off in the distance. And the biggest, meanest bully in school pops out from around the corner, stops right in front of you, lifts his fist in the air and says, "Give me your lunch or I'm going to punch you in the gut." And then you get punched. Ow! Oh, that sucked. And then you run away. Okay, you were being reactive. Now I want you to open your palms, just like this, so they're facing each other. So we're going from being reactive to proactive, okay? Same scenario. Take 2. The biggest, meanest bully in school comes around the corner. He surprises you. He's right in front of you. "Give me your lunch or I'm going to punch you in the gut." But now you can see him. And now you can dodge the punch or quickly hand over your lunch, whatever the solution in that context may be. We're creating or controlling the situation. Back to our definition of being proactive, right? Okay, now I want you to really widen your palms like this. I know we look like elephants, but elephants never forget, so here we go. Wide angle proactivity. Now you are in touch with your surroundings. You're aware. You can see. You've got your good group of friends right to the right. Teacher in the far distance up on the left. There's a door out of the courtyard into the school in case things really get out of hand. What are you going to do with this information? The bully's right in front of you. Fist hovered in the air. "Give me your lunch or I'm going to punch you in the gut." Well, could you maybe stop and say, "Hey, what are you going to do? My friends are here. Are you going to take all of our lunches? The teacher's right over there. Is my lunch really worth a trip to the principal's office? We're at school." All these things that you can say now that you have the big picture perspective that are going to prompt that bully to think about it twice. Maybe he's not going to come back tomorrow for your lunch, or the next day, or the day after that. Maybe it'll have some other long-lasting positive impact. So we went from being reactive and getting punched in the tummy to being proactive, avoiding that punch in the tummy, hopefully, to being wide-angle proactive, most certainly avoiding that punch in the tummy and keeping our lunch. Which one would you prefer? I know which one I would. Thanks.